this is also an update. I'm realizing, y'all, I've been bringing y'all some cops ain't shit stories for some time now, to the point where we can do follow-ups on the Jones. And okay, let me give a content warning for police brutality and police murder. But this is coming out of Columbus, Ohio. And I remember this story because of just how absolutely ridiculous it was. So, did I pull a package? I did not pull a package. So this happened last August in Columbus, Ohio, where a young man by the name of Donovan Lewis was home in his apartment. Donovan had several warrants out for his arrest for a number of charges, some including domestic violence even. And a SWAT team of Columbus police officer forces entered Donovan's home. Donovan was in bed, laying down. He appeared to be asleep. He had something in his hand, which turned out to be a vape pen, not a weapon, not a gun, not a knife. He wasn't armed at all. In fact, he was unarmed and in bed. And a 30-year veteran of the Columbus Police Department opened fire on this unarmed Black man in his bed, killing him. This was a year ago. There have been charges now brought against that officer. And I would like for us to look at the press conference that was held this week. And we're going to hear from two people. We're going to hear firstly from the lawyer representing Donovan Lewis's family. And then we're going to hear from Donovan Lewis's mother. And I appreciate, there's a couple things that you're going to hear here. So the lawyer is about to outline a bit of the cop's history whilst on the force before he murdered somebody who was in their bed and unarmed, right? And then when we hear from Donovan Lewis's mother, she is going to talk about how she's asked about the mayor of Columbus, who in the initial wake of Donovan being murdered by police, reached out, was, we're going to get to the bottom of this or whatever. And then all that shit dried up. Politics. So this is the press conference that was covered live from WENS 10 News. And this is from Columbus, Ohio this week. Let's take a look.
In his bed in the middle of the night. But we are also very grateful that the criminal process is now taking hold and has begun. I want to remind everybody too that the officer that has been indicted for murder and reckless homicide, Ricky Anderson, was a 30-year veteran of the Columbus Police Department. He should have known better. But we're also talking about an officer who had a less than distinguished career. He had over 60 complaints of excessive force during his time, much of which was in the last half of his career. Numerous of those excessive force complaints were sustained. Ricky Anderson is also a police officer who was fired for theft in office and then reinstated after an arbitration. He never should have been in the position to begin with to have the opportunity to take a young life like he did on August 30th, 2022. So I started out by saying this is a great day. It is, because the criminal process has begun, and we're grateful for the grand jury members and for the prosecutors for doing their jobs and for beginning the process to finally hold accountable a police officer who took a young life. The reality is that there is a different justice system for citizens, and there's a different justice system for police officers. This never should have taken this long. Unfortunately, the length of time that it has taken to indict a police officer here, it causes us all to distrust the process. It really it really causes there to be a lot of questions about the process and whether it's fair and whether it works.
You had said when you talked to the mayor right after this happened that he said there would be changes, more would be done. Since that time, have you seen changes?
Zero. Absolutely nothing, not even a phone call from the mayor.
Are you surprised by that?
Naively, yes. I mean, now that we're a year into this, no, I'm not surprised. I'm a person of my word, and I believe that his word was bond, and it's not. It's sad and unfortunate, but when I say something, I mean it. I will follow through, and I expect for them to be held accountable to do the same.
Rebecca, we're just less than 1 month away from the 1-year mark of losing your son. When you think about the time, what's going through your mind? How are you feeling?
It's rough. It's rough for all of us, for anyone that knew him. Uncharted territory, I don't know. I'm doing my best to keep it together day by day. That's all I can really say. I mean, bottom line is he should still be here, and I'm going to be grieving that for the rest of my life.
I assume you'll be in court during all the hearings.
That's Donovan Lewis's mother, Rebecca. Let me pick up a couple more things from the story as reported by WENS. It says that police body cam shows that Ricky Anderson, the cop, opening the bedroom door to an apartment and immediately shooting the 20-year-old while he was in bed. Lewis appeared to be holding something in his hand. It was a vape pen. No weapon was found. Officers handcuffed him, carried him outside the apartment, and then performed life-saving measures. Jesus. You know, there's certain aspects about a lot of these cases that I really wish I didn't know. And I really did not really just want to know that this motherfucker shot this boy while he was laying in bed, put handcuffs on him, carried him all the way outside, and then performed CPR. Just these people, police, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, don't fucking matter. Anyone who puts on that goddamn blue uniform, their humanity and the way that they view black and brown folks, but especially black folks, just goes the fuck away. Like, you must automatically look at black skin and see a canine and see and see something that is not human. Like, I don't understand it. So this cop has now been indicted by a grand jury, which again in itself is a little telling. Like, I wonder why prosecutors just didn't charge him. But sometimes they take the shit to the grand jury, hoping that the grand jury will do some sideways shit, right? Or they will refuse, these prosecutors, that is, will refuse to bring charges and be like, well, we got to see if we could even sustain an indictment. You know what I'm saying? So Ricky Anderson, the cop here, y'all, got fired, lost his job. I believe this was March of 2023. No, he retired. Excuse me. Sorry. How silly of me. This man didn't lose his job. No. Not after he murdered someone whilst on the job, whilst on duty, whilst, according to the Lewis attorney there, being alleged to have committed numerous excessive force infractions while on his job throughout his 30-year career, despite him allegedly committing theft or larceny or whatever the lawyer said there and being reinstated on his job. No, this motherfucker didn't get fired. He retired. Was able to retire. 30 years on the job, you know he got his pension. I mean, this is not even a victory, y'all. Because at the end of the day, Donovan's mom said it. Her son should be here. He was 20. He literally did not do anything to cause this officer to shoot him besides be black and I guess have movement in his bed, respond to someone walking through his bedroom door. Like that's the crime here. That's the offense that's punishable by death. And this is why I hate America. This does not happen to white people. This does not happen to white people in the same way. Are white people victims of police brutality? Sometimes. Yeah, it happens sometimes. But I swear to God, are white boys being shot dead in their fucking bed? Like, this is an institutional crisis. This is a systemic crisis. This is something that is not resolvable through additional funding and additional training. Like, this is a force. These are forces that are deployed to murder and execute and incarcerate Black and brown people, usually without consequence. And it doesn't bring me any comfort. It really does not bring me a lot of comfort that at least some cops go to jail. And maybe it should. But I feel like that's some liberal, proclamation of progress. Oh, well, at least the murderous cops, some of them, a handful of them might go to jail. That's progress? That's progress? The progress I would like to see them stop murdering Black people. Can we make that kind of progress? Can we advance on that front? Like, this is exhausting. And again, and I think all of this between what's happening socially, what's happening environmentally, you guys, it's a lot on my young brain out here. It truly is. But we cannot turn away. You know what I'm saying? We won't turn away. And I hope this piece of shit, this Ricky Anderson, this 30-year veteran of the Columbus Police Department, gets to smell the inside of that jail cell. But even if he does, what kind of time is he going to do? How much softer will his prison time potentially be made by the cops, by the correctional officers, by the cops that police the inside? I bet you Derek Chauvin, the man who murdered George Floyd, is living in a lap of relative luxury. We saw tiny glimpses of the privileges that Derek Chauvin was being given before I think he received his final sentence. I don't recall whether or not it was the Star Tribune or another outlet up there in the Twin Cities, but correctional officers were letting Derek Chauvin use their cell phone. I bet you Derek Chauvin is chilling. That dumb bitch Kim Potter, who shot Dante Wright in the head because she thought this stupid 20-year veteran cow of a cop, she couldn't tell her fucking pistol from her taser. Shot this boy in the head. And got to do 2 years. Why? Because she cried that Becky water at the fucking sentencing. I'm telling you guys, like, I mean, we need to be beating that drum, not only for abolition first and foremostly. Like, I mean, and I know to the non-viewers of Burn It Down with Kim Brown and the non-viewers of Black Power Media, I know that shit sounds like radical rhetoric lunacy. Sounds crazy. No police. What are we gonna do? What the fuck do you mean we gonna do? I guess some of us might live out here, right? It'll be without police to shoot us. I guess Americans can just resume shooting each other, right? Like we've been doing. But seriously, guys, I understand that, we all have limited time on this planet, yeah. And let's say I make it another 45 years in big 2068. What are the chances that the police are going to be abolished by the year 2068? Little to none, right? So I feel as though it is our duty our collective duty. We have to start propagandizing our people. Okay. We have to tell our people, like, y'all can't be making all these blanket statements calling for cops. We need more cops. We need more cops. We need people to actually use some critical thinking here. You know what I'm saying? But it's going to be on us to do that for our folks, because we as a society are so heavily propagandized, right? When you say things like defund the police and abolish the police, it's met with a bunch of pearl clutching. Like, but who are you going to call if someone rapes you? You could call somebody now. and what the fuck is going to happen? Why don't you check them clearance rates on rapes and sexual assaults in a police department in a jurisdiction near you? These cops are not knocking it out of the box when it comes to convicting rapists and sexual assaulters and people who sexually abuse children. They are not knocking it out of the box when it comes to catching and prosecuting successfully people who commit murder. Like, we could all do this better, okay? And if the funds that are misspent, grossly misspent on law enforcement, if they were reappropriated into making sure that people were housed, to making sure that people had food, making sure that their healthcare and mental health needs were met, you wouldn't have a need for all these fucking cops. People would be able to deal with each other in a much better way. If I had a house and I had food, then what am I stealing for? You know what I'm saying? I mean, unless you a kid and you out here with a USB cord and that Kia is just sitting right there. that Hyundai is just sitting right there. I mean, I don't even fault the kids for fucking stealing the cars with the fucking USB cords, because I absolutely would have attempted to do such a thing as a youth, right? Because that's what kids do. But again, then let the kids do some fun shit, right? For example, in Baltimore City, and I'm sure in a lot of cities near you guys, bike culture is big. Dirt bike culture, motorcycle culture, ATV culture, huge, right? Instead of building a dirt bike ramp or racetrack for the kids, instead of encouraging children to learn, automotive repair skills, right? No. Dirt bike riding is criminalized. You know what I'm saying? ATV riding on the streets is criminalized. Well, why don't y'all make a place for the kids to not be criminals and still enjoy what they enjoy? And in fact, encourage them into that direction. Like that would be a good place to reappropriate some money specifically in Baltimore City, right? If the youths are so out of control, if these squeegee kids is just squeegeeing their little hearts out and making white folks uncomfortable, then make something for the fucking kids and stop giving all the goddamn money to the cops. Like, I'm sick of this shit. Like, it drives me crazy that we all can see the very logical solutions to this shit, and yet our governing officials, our so-called leaders, are determined to keep doing the same goofy, dumb shit over and over again, to keep funding the police to the gills, to keep criminalizing the kids, to keep demonizing the parents. Like, how many generations we gonna do this? Okay? They did all the shit they saying about these kids, they said about us. They said the exact same shit about us, right? And what changed? Oh, I know what changed. That 1994 crime bill became law. And all these prisons got built. And that's exactly what they're trying to do right now. Meanwhile, these cops are out here just killing people arbitrarily, running up in people's houses, torturing them for dating white women in 2023, shooting black men dead in their beds. But more training for what? More training for this? No. Propagandize your folks, everybody. Tell your people that we don't need police. Use examples. And trust me, examples are easily found in your local news cycle. I promise you. I found a story. I'm not going to report it on it. I'm going to hold it for BPM. But KRON in the Bay, San Francisco, ran a story today, and I bookmarked it because I said, we got to break this down come fucking Tuesday on the remix. But they were sizing the thing, sizing it. They were exuberant, jubilative, I suppose, that 500 drug dealers had been arrested in the Bay Area this year. 500 drug dealers? You arrested 500 drug dealers? Okay. Um, uh, are the drugs still available even with those 500 drug dealers so-called off the streets? Are the drugs still available? Then what the fuck did you really do? Then what did you really do? You just disrupted temporarily, momentarily, the supply chain. Okay? Because that product gonna come, that product gonna be sold, that product's gonna be consumed. Whether or not you take 500 drug dealers off the street or 5,000 drug dealers off the street, one monkey does not stop the show in America when it comes to drugs. You understand? So what the fuck are we really doing? What the fuck are we really doing? Police need to be abolished. We need to reimagine the ways that this money can be spent. But most importantly, that begins with changing hearts and minds. And I'm putting that on you. Okay? And I'm putting it on me too. So we can do this shit together. We need to re-propagandize our people. And I say this as somebody who consumes a lot of true crime shit. I watch Law and Order. Where's Nat? Nat A. Me and Nat be watching SVU like shit. We be watching Law and Order Organized Crime with the worst cop ever to be on television, Elliot Stabler. This nigga done shot about 40, 50 people. This motherfucker get to do all kinds of shit. Jesus, they put and they gave the worst cop to ever be on television his own show. Okay, so I said that to say, even if we consume the propaganda, we don't have to swallow it and believe it and buy it. I don't, and we need to be telling our people. Okay, we need to be waking our folks the fuck up, black and white, but black especially. Okay. Anytime you were in the presence, and this is only for black people, by the way, the white folks, I don't know. Pick your poison. But I encourage black people who are especially in the presence of other black people. When you hear black people start talking that shit, well, we need more cops. If there was more cops around here, this shit would be, that's a lie. Ask them, what is the correlation between more police and less crime? It doesn't exist. We need to challenge our people because it infuriates me to see black folks calling for more police. I said, Jesus, why don't we want nice things? Why can't we have nice things? Why are we so... Who is that? Is that Afra? Y'all, Afra's birthday is next week, so keep that in mind. So anyway, I'm done. Okay, I'm gone.